So, in this video, I'm going to explain on what could happen if the company of House of the Dead went with different formats of game styles for different remakes. Um, so, like, if they went through the same remake, more than once, like, did multiple different styles of the remake. Now, basically, I think it could be a good idea of number of levels because, as we already know, we have had the classic House of the Dead, basically by Sega, years ago, which, again, it still holds a place in my heart. And then in the end, they made a remake of House of the Dead. I haven't played that, but it looks good. I actually like it. But the only thing basically that pulled me away was the controls. um, well, being janky and whatever. So that's what pulled me away. But the graphics again look for the remake look really stunning. In the first person shooter remake. But a number of questions is what if they actually made another remake of House of the Dead 1 in a different style? Now, if they basically were to, say, make a remake, of that, but in a different style to be new and fresh, now, there's a number of things they could do with this. Exploration, meaning able to explore through the mansion, through the entire mansion itself, since we've never seen all of the, the mansion itself properly. Now, I think this would be a good story thing because it could add more of a story instead of the whole first person shooter. So this time round it would be more of going into the area and whatever, working with your co-partner, which I reckon would be a good idea to be online co-op if it makes sense because you either would work together or alone because that's how the game goes. So if you're working together, you would basically have some sort of detective thing going on because that's how it goes, the game. So you would work together mainly. So the other thing is, since you're basically both different people, the story would probably entwine depending, how many you have in the same session. So, like, if you've got two detectives, for example, that talk to each other more, so as the story goes on. So basically, the first style I'm gonna basically bring up is fixed camera angle. Now I know a lot of people like fixed camera angles, and it actually could work. Like in that play style and whatever, it could actually work with dealing with like the zombies and such. So that would be a new thing for the company and whatever to get onto. I know Sega likes retro games, so maybe getting them on board and whatever, and like working with the game actually could work because Sega do actually care for old games and such. So that one I think could work, as well as like using like a good engine to make that happen and whatever and so on. So that would basically be a good idea. So especially with like adding in the puzzles and whatever and stuff like that and whatever. Okay, so moving on to say the next remake, if they did another remake of House of the Dead, like years later after the fixed camera angle remake. Now, say they did a third person remake. Now, again, that's actually a good choice as well because, I would basically buy the third person one because that would be awesome because it'd be easier for me to navigate and whatever, and it would be a really good choice for some that don't like fixed camera angles. And basically, that would also be a good change and whatever, like be able to add stuff that they couldn't do in fixed camera that they could do in third person instead, which I think will be excellent because of all those zombies and chainsaw like zombies and whatever, and the bosses and whatever, to make everything work. That would be awesome. Considering how probably good the game would probably be, exploring the sewers, exploring the laboratories, exploring the end area where you fight the big giant boss and such, as well as like going into like other areas like basements or something, which would be a good idea. Um, because again, depending on who you are as a character, it would implant on the story, and such, and also depending on which character you save, depending on how many you save, would it implant the story. Like, say for example, everyone died, like all the scientists died or whatever inside the mansion, then you would have a really bad ending. With the familiar girl zombie walking out the door, and that would be it. But say for example, you apparently did manage to like save some of them or whatever, you'd probably still get a different ending. But if you apparently, say for example, saved everyone, and such, you'd probably get like a really good ending. Um, Probably to do with the detectives or something. I'm guessing. I mean, again, this is to do with saving everyone, so I mean, I basically think it would be a good story mainly. So basically that would be a good option because I actually think it would be a good idea to bring online into this, because if they bring online into this, that means online people will be able to join in as the second character, like the second detective, to go into the mansion with the other one, in order to like, uh, you know, um so apparently I do like the mansion because it's very creepy and whatever, especially the lightings and whatever. Definitely makes it more of a spooky house. Because I remember when I was a kid, I was very creeped out by the classic, and it kind of got me feeling a bit scared of zombies. And that's where it came in. Mainly, that's basically why, because I was afraid of zombies back then. But um, I kind of got over that. So apparently it used to creep me out, like the dead bodies on the ground, the zombies in the sewers, the ribbed ones just like walking along and whatever. But the whole sequence of the trailer footage mainly, which was awesome. But I kind of want to see House the Dead in different play styles because that'd be awesome. I think. And I also think they could also try with the first person shooter, with first person mainly. Like, I think it's a good idea to try every single one of them in different styles, but when I think about it, first person I think wouldn't do as well as, what I mean? It wouldn't do as well because, for one, we already have a first person point of view, so I don't think it would do as well um, as the other point of views, because when you think about it, first person would just seem old, mainly, if you kind of did it again. So, I don't know, unless they do something new where they actually do first person, and they just take away the first person shooter, and they make it so you're actually able to explore something. But they'd have to add something more to the first person, though. to the whole story thing. They'd have to add something more than the other two versions if they did a remix on them. So they'd have to do something more in the first person version. So at least then it feels new, fresh, and it drives more people in rather than away from the game. Um, so basically, that's clearly what I think as of right now. So if anyone has any opinions on, um, like what I've just basically just said about House of the Dead, as a whole, if it had different versions of remakes and whatever, and which one would you actually consider out of all of them? So apparently leave your suggestions in the comments, and whatever, like down below, and such. So yeah, so the next time I talk about the Dead will probably be about, oh god, I don't know, probably I have no idea. Probably whenever I do talk about it again, I will mention something new and whatever if it comes up, if any idea comes to mind. So yeah.